Hey YouTube, I'm David Benjamin and this is Farming Ain't Easy. Today, we're going to cut the rest of this hay field. It's a 100-acre field. It should have all been cut at one time about a week ago. But unfortunately, we hit this little piece of granite and had some repairs on the tractor, which we've hit some bigger rocks in our time. And unfortunately, this little guy hit just right and we had some repairs to do. So we had to do the field, I guess, in two halves. So today we're back and we're gonna cut the other side of the field. And hopefully this time, put up some little better quality hay. Not in a round bale format, but we're going to cut it in hopes that we're going to make some close to horse quality hay in small square bales. As you'll see here, one of our newest additions to the farm was a year ago. We bought a JCB Fast Track 4220. We've been primarily running front wheel assist tractors for haying, and they're great tractors, but unfortunately a little limited on speed and suspension, front 3-point hitch obviously. We've done everything on our farm so far with that tractor. There isn't an implement that we own that it hasn't pulled in, even a couple rental pieces. So we've upgraded to this. It's a little bit of a hybrid approach tractor now. It's not a front wheel assist, and it's also not an articulated 4-wheel drive. Never fails. We hit a rock here last week when we were trying to cut, and obviously we talked about the damage already that it caused, and I'm 3 passes in, hit another rock. I didn't hear it, but I'm gonna be the laughing stock of the neighborhood leaving a mohawk strip in the field like this. So let's check out how bad it is. Hopefully it's not as bad as the last one. Coincidentally, this is actually the same turtle that broke last week. This turtle actually broke right off. The crone system has a really clever design where it's on a shear pin and it spring loads and springs up out of the way so it doesn't make contact with the rest of the spinning turtles. They're spinning at a few thousand RPM, so pretty lightning fast. But this turtle actually the rock was bouncing around inside the header and it actually came right off, and when this header came off, it actually caused a bunch of other damage. But it's pretty ironic that just a few swaths away from where we hit that rock and caused all that damage last week, the same turtle hit another rock, and now we got to swap it out. Left-hand blades. Debris that's in there. Make sure there's not a chunk of the old blade. Sometimes they break and it's wedged in here, but not in this case. So it's pretty nice to be toolless compared to carrying a cordless impact in the cab of the tractor or toolbox bolted to the side of something. Well, that was pretty thankful. That's a pretty cheap fix. These blades are probably only a few dollars each, and pretty quick to get it fixed. The problem is time. You never have enough time. And, it took us longer to shut down and go collect the rock we just hit and go back and recut that swath so I don't look like an idiot to all the neighbors. So, you know, as just as those blades are to change, which is nice. You know, here we are, another 15 minutes behind for the day. We're replacing them when we hit rocks. They don't survive long enough around here to wear them out. I know some guys have some pretty nice dirt and they get to wear them out, or they have to even resharpen them. But unfortunately for us, or fortunately, which way you put it, we tend to bend them, dent them before they wear out. Little guy, two-hander, left some iron on it even. Well, that's smaller than the one that cost all that money last week, and I'll come back and cut that little strip down so no one's laughing at me. Pretty thankful all we had to do was replace a couple blades, because that was pretty inexpensive in the scheme of things. So can't afford to hit those expensive rocks too often. So I'll break it to my wife. We're eating craft dinner for a couple days, but we can get through that. Set of Crone triples. This is our first set of triples. We've never run them before. Obviously, we didn't have a tractor capable of attaching to them, but now that we do, I've been pretty happy with them. We've always run steel on steel conditioners, conditioner rollers as well, but now we're conditioning the hay a little differently. The straight alfalfa is a little hard to condition with the tines, but the nice thing about these Crones is we are in complete control of the conditioning of the hay. So I know typically you don't want to run tine conditioners on alfalfa because of the leaf loss, but we've got the tines almost disengaged completely on this field. We can turn the speed right down. So we're doing minimal conditioning in today's cutting. The reason is it's hot and dry. This is going to dry down and cure quite well. We're not going to be worried about too many tough spots. We're just going to have to pay attention to where the hay did get excessively thick and in some spots where there was a little more water. But the fact that now we can cut twice as wide as our last tractor. We were running a John Deere self-propelled disc bind, and it was only 14.5 feet wide. Now we're cutting, I think, pretty close to 27.5 foot actual cutting pass. But you know, we're cutting faster and we're cutting twice as wide. So you know, we're cutting now at 27.5 feet or 28 feet, and we're probably cutting 15 to 18 kilometers an hour, which you know, that would have been the highest speed that we could have got out of that self-propelled disc bind. And again, so we're a little more, not quite twice the speed, but we're getting up there and we're twice as wide. In a small hand window, if you've only got 3 or 4 days to put up the hay, these conditioner tines have been working pretty good for us. We've taken almost a day off of our drying time, just being able to lay the crop flat versus piling it up in a real dense swath, and then being able to choose the conditioning to match the field and the conditions. Super dry, super small plants this year, so we're going to tone the conditioning back, lay it out nice and flat, let it get lots of air and sun exposure. It'll dry down nice and even, and we'll be on our way. Oh, we're just packing up here for the day, and noticed something pretty interesting. We know this is a very poor yielding, poor stand this year due to the drought. It's been very dry here, like I say. 2.4 inches is about all we've got. We put a pretty heavy dose of fertilizer on this field, so it hurts even more from a financial and economic perspective. But this field has 300 pounds of a product called Super KNS. So a lot of sulfur and phosphate in this field. And looking at it now, this first half that was cut last week, prior to the machine breaking down from hitting that rock, has already regrown. And in a year where we have no water, I realize alfalfa has a pretty deep root. You know, those roots can be down as deep as 5-6 feet. This is what it looks like freshly cut today, an hour ago. You know, there's almost no leaves left. It's just stalks and stems. And the swath that was cut last week, this is all new growth within a week. Actually, here's a piece of elemental sulfur right there. It'd be pretty neat to know, if we had water, how much this field might actually produce in excess. You know, we typically only get one cut of hay in this area because we only have a 90-day season, and we get frost the first week of September religiously. If this field had water, if we had 6-7 inches of rain, we'd be getting close to getting a second cutoff here, which again is nip and tuck. We don't usually do it, but again, with the right management practices, I hope we can try. Who knows, maybe we'll be blessed with several inches of rain here in the next couple days, and maybe we will be haying in September. So we're done here for the day. We got the rest of that field cut. It was about 45 acres. Got it cut in a couple hours here, and that includes a couple knife changes on equipment here. We did find a couple more rocks. This was the little bugger from last week, and these are the ones from today. As big and scary as they are, we were able to just get away lucky and just replace a few blades. On that note, picking rocks is easy. You know, it's good exercise, and it's even better part-time job for young kids. And if you know some neighbor kids in your area that, you know, need a summer job, here we are in July making hay. We know where these rocks are. I'm sure there's a neighbor kid just sitting there, maybe looking for something to do. Maybe he's playing too much video games. And if you know their parents, or if you have any of those connections, something I believe in is giving those kids an opportunity to make some money, learn a work ethic, get some exercise, get off the couch playing games, and, you know, give them the keys to an old truck or an ATV. And a perfect job for kids is to go out and do some rock picking. It sounds lame, but, you know, if I think back when I was a teenage kid, if someone were to hand me the keys to an old farm truck or an ATV and say, you know what, come back for supper, we'll feed you, pay X amount of dollars an hour, let's go pick some rocks, help us out so these kind of damages don't happen. Let's get some kids exposed to where their food comes from. A little bit of agriculture doesn't hurt anybody, and it'll be a win-win. This rock cost $3,200 last week, and these ones we got away real lucky and only cost a few dollars. So paying a kid a couple $100 to go fix rocks, and so when you cut this field, or when I cut this field next year, I don't have to worry about rocks, or very few. So it takes the risk out of the equation for me as a farmer, makes my life easier. We joke about farming ain't being easy, but such an easy task as picking rocks for some young guy or gal goes a real long way. Thanks guys for watching. I'd love to hear how some of you guys deal with rocks and some of the challenges in your fields. Leave a comment. Let us know what it is you're running. I know we're running triple mowers. That's a new thing for us in the last year and a half. Farming changes around the world, and the equipment changes around the world, and even though this is what we're doing and it works good for us, it may not work good for you. But I'm always curious to know what other people are working. YouTube's a great outlet for that. I learn how other people do it, and maybe learn something new along the way. If you like what you saw, feel like watching again, and watching us going through some of these trials and tribulations of David and farming ain't easy, hope to see you next time.